Love it or hate it, Star Wars Episode 7 The Force Awakens was a successful movie. It grossed a lot of money at the box office. Didn't do as well as Deadpool, but it did very well. After rewatching the movie, I decided that it was time to get my notes together and do the novel review of The Force Awakens by Alan Dean Foster. I'm not going to go into detail what the plot of The Force Awakens was, because the majority of you who watch this video have seen the movie. In fact, probably almost all of you have that want to see the movie. And there's a few of you in my subscribers, my subscriber base, that don't want to see the movie, but you may tune into this review. So we'll get into the good and the bad of this book, because it's a mixed bag. We'll start off with the good. I like to start off with the positive. There are some scenes added in to the novel that were probably cut out last minute of the movie, just for pacing. We get specifically a lot more Leia moments. Leia reacting to things, Leia setting up the plot, Leia talking to Poe at the very beginning before Poe Dameron goes off on his mission to get the last piece of the map from that guy on Jakku. We see probably one of the best scenes in the book, in my opinion. Talks about Leia's talking to one of her officers who she's going to send on a diplomatic mission to the New Republic to ask for funding for the Resistance. This is key because you see this person in the movie as the New Republic's being destroyed by Starkiller Base. And you wonder, you're like, hey, isn't that a Resistance uniform? Well, yeah, you find out she has a character, it's well put together, and it gives you some weight to what's actually happening to the New Republic, which unfortunately the movie falls flat on that. I guess, you don't get that movement that you do in the book. Next, we get a little more Poe Dameron. Not much more. That was a little disappointing. We get how he escapes the TIE fighter on Jakku. Not necessarily all of how he got back to the Resistance base, but we get enough to know pretty much how it was going to go down. Some more good points. It's Alan Dean Foster. It's not his best work, but it's competent. Alan Dean Foster, as you all know, is the godfather of the expanded universe. He created the first novel, Splinter of the Mind's Eye. He also ghost wrote the original A New Hope novel. So he's been doing this for a long time, and he knows how to write a science fiction story. And you get that Alan Dean Foster. He has this magical tone to his books that no other author really has. When you're reading an Alan Dean Foster book, I just don't know how to explain this, but you just know it's an Alan Dean Foster book. He has this specific whimsical-esque style that makes you really enjoy reading the book. Now, let's get into the negative of this book. It's rushed. It's a little shorter than I would have expected. And it drags a little bit at the same time. Through the first half drags a little bit. We're on Jakku for half the book, practically. Jakku, it's just, you get really bored of it. Granted, there are some really good Rey character development that was cut out of the book. Like Rey seeing a girl getting her hair brushed and then she starts crying because she doesn't have a family and she hasn't had a family for most of her life, it's really tragic. But that's pretty much the only good part of them taking their time on Jakku. The rest of it, it's just, I don't know, it just took forever. But at the same time, we get the rushed feeling with the conclusion. We all know Han Solo dies. And his death scene, well, his confrontation with Kylo Ren, very rushed, and it's the second to last chapter of the book. Unfortunately, so we get the last chapter's 10 pages. I'm not kidding, it's 10 pages where we have Rey and Finn fighting Kylo Ren, Poe Dameron destroying Starkiller Base, them escaping, Finn getting medical attention, them discovering the map of Skywalker and R2-D2, and then Rey going with Chewbacca and R2-D2 to the planet where Luke Skywalker is, and Luke and Rey finally meeting at the very end. That's all in 10 pages. It's just really, it's like, but it's too fast. I would get 20 pages would be doable, but 10 is just way too rushed. It's like they made Alan Dean Foster edit down the end of the book, and it's just, it ends flat because of that. Overall, I think the worst part of the book is the medic. And people are wondering, who's the medic in Force Awakens? Well, let me tell you, it's Kathleen Kennedy. Apparently, there was more Kathleen Kennedy in there than there needed to be, and it got cut out of the movie. Thank goodness. Because, they name her character, she has 3 scenes, and you wonder, like, why? There's only one of the scenes made it to the movie, and that's her bandaging up Chewbacca at the Resistance base. And that felt really unnecessary. It's like some of the really bad Stan Lee moments in the Marvel movies. Like, I'm not talking the really funny ones. I'm talking, Captain America Winter Soldier, when he shows up and Cap's stolen the original Cap costume. He's like, "Ooh, I'm going to get fired over this." And I'm like, it's like really unnecessary. And these moments where, and she has a conversation with Rey that's incredibly forgettable. In fact, I just forgot about it until I was doing this just now. There's just a lot of nothing. She's not a good character. Don't want to deal with her. I mean, the list goes on. Another thing that was a little unnecessary that got cut out of the book was Umbler Plutt, I think is his name. He's the guy who Rey gets the portions from. And he has an additional scene where Chewbacca rips his arms off, I think. And it happens at Ma's cantina. It's really unnecessary. And it doesn't develop the plot at all. Other than that, what do I give this book out of 5? I give it 3 out of 5. It's alright. If you wanted a little teeny tiny bit more to The Force Awakens, you get it in the book. It's Alan Dean Foster, and he writes competently. But there's just some negatives that I have to discuss. So, anyway, guys, have a nice day. Join me next time as I continue to travel the road to Crucible with a special comic book that's one of my personal favorites. See you later, guys.